ScouterStan. Let's talk a little bit about the Order of the Arrow Troop Representative in Scouting. Now, this podcast is about answering the question. There was a gentleman on the live show, which is done on the first Sunday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on the channel. In that live show, he asked this question, if you were going to get into scouting more as an OA representative, how would you go about doing that? So that was kind of the gist of his question. And because of that, there's a lot that you can do. And in a previous episode, I believe it was last season, we talked about unit service. And we briefly touched on the actual positions inside of a troop where a youth and an adult can actually be recognized as representing or as a OA rep for the OA to the unit. So we briefly talked about it. A lot of that was about camping and service and all of that stuff with the unit. So let's get more into what this entails. Unfortunately, too many troops and crews don't have any kind of youth representative for the OA. Now, because of that, this also falls through to the adult position for the representative. This is often thought of as an advisor for the Order of the Arrow youth rep to inside the unit. So this is something that can be done, that's recognized. An Order of the Arrow unit representative is an adult, and they act as the mentor, the coach, the advisor for the youth that represents the Order of the Arrow. Now, a lot of units don't realize it, but the Order of the Arrow youth representative is actually a leadership position within the unit and qualifies for leadership for Star, Life, and Eagle. The one big drawback to it is that they are committing themselves to actually attending all of your chapters meetings. Now, this might be going to roundtable or to some other event every single month so that you're up to date on what is going on with the order. And this is true for the adult and the youth. Now, at the unit meeting, the scout and the adult that are the representatives for the Order of the Arrow, when they are not representing, they do not wear the sash. However, when the youth goes up onto the stage or is asked to give a report to the unit, they can put their sash on. Once they're done, they would leave the stage, take the sash off, and put it in their pocket. So it's when they are representing, that's when they wear the sash. That way, there's a clear line of their responsibility. Now, one of the things that the adult Order of the Arrow unit representative does is that he represents the Order of the Arrow at the unit's committee meeting. Any requirements, any questions that they're not able to answer, they could easily talk to the scout about. There could be questions about calendar. There could be questions about campsites. These are things that come up all the time within the Order of the Arrow. When that happens, the adult acts as an advisor. They're there to give the youth the information. They're there to help the youth find the information, try to find the right people to do the right thing to get that information. The OA representative for the adults is a position that has its own patch, which has an arrow through the logo. So that is very significant and to recognize adult leaders. Of course, the Order of the Arrow youth rep has their own patch and should be recognized by the Patrol Leaders Council, the PLC. As participation increases with your unit, so will that responsibility for your unit reps. Now, typically, the Order of the Arrow has up to 3 or 4 different events in the year, and the representatives of the unit should know the information, the dates and the times and the fees and anything that might be involved with it. That's something that they handle. That's the information that should be flowing from your unit OA reps. There's also things like elections that go on within the unit. So as the unit grows, as it gets more involved in the Order of the Arrow, it's quite simple that the schedule needs to be considered, because the older youth that are involved with the Order of the Arrow, they will want to do the Order of the Arrow events. So this is something that needs to be coordinated. So don't take for granted, as an adult leader of a unit, the Order of the Arrow representative is incredibly important. It's very important to keep your older scouts involved. Something to really consider. And I know you put in so many hours of work, and work really hard for your Order of the Arrow brothers and all of your scouts that are in your charge. You work really hard, and I really appreciate it. We know that scouting is going to help these young people succeed in the future. So it's critical that we keep up the good, hard work. And I will see you on the trail.